Hi everybody, what's up? This Mike. Coming back with some more thoughts, just a couple of things. I don't want to talk to you all night. Well, pretty much what I'm trying to make is I'm trying to reach out to the youth and people my age, middle age, I guess. I'm 38. Just sharing nuggets that I learned about working in the corporate world and things of that nature. I know everybody having this great resignation and quitting their jobs, but I just want to give a different perspective about working in the corporate world. And what I'm really trying to do is, if I was to go back and tell myself at like 18, graduating high school, if I wanted to be more efficient as far as finding my talents and getting into my career track, and that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to reach as many, whoever want to hear it. I believe in the fable, I can lead you to water, but I can't make you drink. So what I want to do is give you the information, and if you like it, if it's for you, if it is, if it's not, it's not. I get it. But I do want to share. I don't want to wait till I'm 60 years old and older. I'd rather do it in my middle age, and I'm still learning in real time. But as far as up to 38, I want to share that. So maybe somebody that was like me coming up that young, kind of just didn't have that direction that he wanted to go in. Try to give you some things to think about. So when I talked about the first video, I talked about finding your talents and your skills and thinking about that. So the next thing I want to talk about is trying to match talents and skills to a career track. So I'm only going to really touch on three things. I could really touch on a lot, but I'm going to touch on three things that really kind of sticks out to me at this point in time. And the first thing I'm going to talk about is you got to think about the market that you live in. You know, everybody lives in different states, different cities, it's different markets. I know I live here in Little Rock, Arkansas, so the market is probably a little different than if I was in Dallas or Houston or Memphis or something like that, bigger city. The market you live in is very important, and you have to think about that. You really have to think about the career track the market that you're in, that career track that you choose. Some career tracks in bigger markets have a little bit more flexibility and a little bit more longevity versus a career in a smaller market where, you know, you kind of have to be careful about what you pick because it may not be a high ceiling in that career track in the market that you're in. So it's really something to think about. You think about the financial forecast. You know, I work in IT. You know, if I was to go to another state, it may be a bigger market in IT, and there is a market in Little Rock as well. But as far as different states, I know guys that I went to school with. They went to other states and they commanded a little bit more money than what they would get in Little Rock and things of that nature. So, you know, it's always good to try to pre-plan as much as you can and forethought as much as you can in the market, in the career track that you're going to, because you don't want to go into it and not be able to do the research and realize that the financial ceiling is not that high compared to other markets. So, and don't be afraid to challenge yourself. Don't be afraid to try something new. Just, you don't want to do anything that you hit that ceiling real fast and, you know, the financial ceiling is not that high. Another thing I think a lot of people maybe sleep on, I'm not sure, but maybe, is the aesthetic requirements. The world is a vain place. Please, you know, take care of yourself as much as you can. I understand, you know, we live in an economy that everybody's trying to push all this unhealthy stuff and things on you, but I'm telling you, working in IT, you kind of see different things. You know, you kind of see every department. You deal with every department, especially smaller companies, kind of medium-sized companies. And most people, when you look at these different positions, especially you start seeing executives and things, you start seeing like it's kind of like a trend or kind of like a pattern. And I see aesthetically, you know, sometimes, you know, different areas of the career tracks, they're looking for a certain aesthetic. The way that you can tell is you look at the people that work in the position. Look at, if you go to LinkedIn, you go to Facebook, or if you just see like a new person got this position at a company, how does that person look? Do you have to be exactly like that person? No. But what I'm saying is there is an aesthetic appeal that you gotta have, more so than not just education. It's more than just education. You gotta have education, you gotta have communication, and some jobs, some positions, you gotta have that aesthetic appeal um, in order for them to really consider you. Because I've seen people that didn't get certain positions because they wanted a certain look. Now they don't say it right out. Of course, they're not gonna tell you, but all you gotta do is look at the people they hire, the results. I don't have to read a person's mind. All you have to do is look at the results. The results are there. Look at the people who are getting hired in these positions, and you can kind of tell, what the trend is and what they're looking for in some of those positions. Another point I want to talk about is, can I handle the journey of climbing the ladder? One thing you got to have when you take on a career track is you got to have the endurance. I had to learn it for myself. I had to figure it out. And climbing the ladder, it takes endurance, because if you ever climbed a ladder before, it's not easy. The higher you go up, the less stable it kind of feels. It can get wobbly a little bit. But if you stay on the ladder, you keep climbing, you'll eventually get to the top. And that's where you want to get to. You want to get to the highest point on the ladder that you can get to. Everybody may not be an executive. Everybody may not get hired, but you don't want to be entry level your whole career either. So always think about that. Like, what's the next step on the ladder, and how do I get to that next step? And my next point I'm going to go into is, don't get stuck working entry level jobs. A lot of times, I've done it, is you graduate high school and then you just go right into the work world, which is good, but you also want to always think about education. Don't get stuck working entry level jobs, and don't feel like you have to work 2 jobs, because at the end of the day, you can't sustain working 2 jobs for a long time. You're not going to be young forever. You're going to eventually start getting older, and I'm telling you, as a person that worked 2 jobs for I think I did it for about 4 years, 5 years, it gets monotonous, it gets tiresome, and some days you just don't want to do it. And I'm telling you, when I went to Pulaski Tech, got my 2-year degree in IT and networking, and upped my skill, I went from working a regular, I'll say mediocre job at the airport, being a shuttle driver, into working for an ISP company, making double the salary of what I was making, maybe a little more than double than what I was making working as a shuttle driver. So once you learn skills, I'm really big on learning skills. Skills can take you different steps on that ladder, but you got to be willing and have the endurance to learn that skill. And what I like to say is, you don't want to get caught on the hamster wheel. What I mean by caught on the hamster wheel is, sometimes when you see a hamster get on the wheel, it's just running in circles. It's not going anywhere. You're just running in circles. And I try to tell myself, make sure I don't get stuck on the hamster wheel. Now, when we giving people information, some people gonna say, all right, whatever, I ain't listening to him. Some people, you can't get off the hamster wheel. You can't make them get off. They like running on the hamster wheel. When you see some hamsters, they get excited. They just keep running on the wheel. And there's some people that they understand, like, hey, I don't want to get stuck on this wheel. I need to figure out how to go forward and not get stuck running in circles. So that's one thing to think about. Don't get caught on that hamster wheel. Third point is, can I communicate to people who are not the same demographic as me? And what I mean by that is, me, I went to McClellan, grew up in Southwest. The best thing I could have done is, I was working in high school and I got to see other people outside of Southwest and deal with other people other people, other ethnicities, races, race, color, um, different classes and whatever. And you want to be able to communicate to different people, not just a certain group of people. Because what I found out is, as you grow in your career track, you're gonna have to deal with different people. And what I'm saying is, if you're an apple, can you talk to an orange? Or do you just want to talk to apples? Because if you just want to talk to apples, it's gonna be tough for you to elevate yourself in the career track, because everybody's not an apple, everybody's not an orange, but you gotta be able to coincide with each other. Another one point I want to say is, if I am the only apple in a bowl full of oranges, will that bother me? What I mean by that is, sometimes you will get into some things that you're qualified for, but there is not a lot of other apples in there. You'll be the only apple in a bowl full of oranges. Can you be okay with that? Can you deal with that? My thing is, whatever I need to do to support my family, whatever I need to do to better myself, whatever I need to do, I'm gonna get it done. I don't care if I'm in the apple with a bowl full of bananas, oranges, grapes, whatever. I'm gonna make it happen. We're gonna be a cornucopia. We're gonna make it happen. And that's what I want to share with you guys. Don't be afraid to level up. Don't be afraid to keep winning. But sometimes in order to win, you have to really challenge yourself and take on new things, new heights, new people, new forms of communication. But don't look at it as a negative thing. Sometimes you have to be able to be around different people, different demographics, and there's nothing wrong with that. And just really think about, when your career track, do I fit? Does my personality fit this? Would I be a good fit for this? Because you don't want to go to school for something and do something just because it's easy and it don't fit your personality. For me, I'm an IT guy. I love troubleshooting. I'm an analyzer. Sometimes I feel like I'm a walking computer sometimes, because when I'm working on stuff, it's like I can think about processes in my head. How can I make that simpler? How can I make it more efficient? And that fits me. IT fit my brain pretty much. That's why I don't have no problem working in it. But another thing, the higher you go up, the less labor and the more thinking and communication that you have to do. Like for me in IT, I have to still deal with people. I still have to be able to help people. And I still have to be able to communicate with people, either through email or on the phone, meetings. Sometimes, you have to show people what you know. So you have to be able to go in a room and talk to people that you may not normally talk to on a daily basis. Nothing wrong with that. It's a great skill to learn how to communicate with different people. Communication will take you further, and your skill will take you further sometimes in education, but having all three will make a difference. I promise you it will. It'll make a total difference. Like I said, I didn't even go to school till I was 28. And when I finished school, I remember that I got a job at that ISP before I graduated in IT. And because I was able to communicate good in the interview with the manager on the phone, he told me that after he hired me, that's why he hired me, because we had a conversation and it wasn't even about IT, was able to connect with him, and we was talking about the other things than IT. And sometimes that could be the difference between you getting a job or them just passing you over because your communication skills. It makes a total difference knowing how to communicate with different people. This is Mike. I'm signing out. Thank you for listening. There'll be more to come. Thank you.